Welcome to the first of the fabulous webinars that we're running. So today's session is really about the digital roadmaps and what is a digital roadmap and what are some of the areas to consider in the whole concept of the digital roadmap. Now, not all of this is going to be totally new to all of the people on the webinar at the moment. This is something that some of you already have been exposed to, and in fact some of you unknowingly have actually helped in the formulation of a lot of this information, so thank you. Specifically thank you to Simon. Thanks, mate, and others. Okay. Anyway, the concept of the digital roadmap was explained in the book that I put out a couple of months ago called Catching Digital, and that's available for those who haven't got it as yet from my website and also various book outlets. In Perth, it's available from Boffin's bookshop. It's available on Amazon and various other places, and there's information on smarterwebstrategies.com, my website. Basically, this is a graphic from the book where we talk about or the digital roadmap framework, and specifically in this part, the stages and goals to be able to say, okay, where are we today and where do we want to be in the future? And one of the things that the book talks about is understanding the big picture of where business is going, where your future is going, where the future of different sorts of businesses is going. And then from there to say, okay, if that's where the future is and if that's where things are moving, how do we need to plan our businesses accordingly? And one of the approach I like to recommend to people is to say, okay, so if that's the big picture, then what's the vision that we have for our business? What are the strategies that make sense? And then what's the roadmap? How do we start implementing that? And this is really the guts of the session today. What I've realized, though, since putting the book out, is this diagram is actually a little bit confusing for some people. And it is a bit, because for me, although I've explained it in the book how it works, really, the way that this process is not going from the first one to the second to the third. It's actually going from where we are today, point number one there, over to say, where do we want to be in 3 years' time? Where do we want to be in 3 years' time? And then working back to say, okay, so if that's where we want to be in 3 years' time, what do we need to do? What do we need to have? What do we need to become in 12 months' time in order to get where we want to be in 3 years? And from there to then say, okay, if that's what we have to do and where we want to be in 12 months' time, what should we be doing or what could we be doing over the course of the next 3 months? And in breaking things down into 3-month blocks for the course of the next 12 months. So that's really the point of it. And so the kind of sequential arrows that look like you move from today to 3 months to 12 months to 3 years is actually how the roadmap works, but it's not how the planning process works. Okay? So it's an important distinction there. In terms of what the roadmap can actually help you do, really this focus is about on customers. It's about saying, what is it that our customers find important? What is it that we can use technology for to help us with our customers? Hopefully, as a result of that, it will give you clarity for the future and help you plan more appropriately, more effectively, and more proactively, rather than kind of just responding to things that happen as they go along. All in all, hopefully it'll also give you, if you apply this, it'll give you an edge over your competitors, because one of the things we have noticed a lot is that a lot of businesses don't take time out to plan, and I guess they get what they get. So really, going back to the process, we then say, okay, where are we today? Where are we today? What is the business all about? And I've got some worksheets that I can run through with you, not today, but on other occasions, about what is our business, what is it that makes us unique. And I guess the thing is, at the moment, that consumers have never had so much choice as they do today, and certainly in the retail space, people now can buy from anywhere in the world. Effectively, the world is on sale, and people can buy from anywhere. So part of what I think, and it seems to make sense, that retailers need to get very clear on, as does every business, is what makes them unique, what makes you different, what makes you unique, what makes you better, and what is it about your business that people would actually want to choose you. So part of that question is saying, okay, who are your customers? Who are your ideal customers? Who are the people who you would really like to have as customers? And why do they choose you? What is it that makes them choose you today? And understand, of course, that those same factors may not be the same. Why would they want to choose you in 3 years' time? Who knows? I mean, that's part of what we have to work towards. So part of that question is to say, all right, in terms of the business, where do we want to be in 3 years' time? Where do you want your business to be? What do you want to achieve? What do you want to be? What do you want your business to be? And what do you want your business to do? What do you want your business to have? And also, what do you need to become? What does your business need to become? And what does the people who are involved in your business need to become in order to make that happen? So then from today and then going to 3 years' time, we then say, okay, so if that's where we want to be in 3 years' time, what can we do in the next 12 months? In order to get where we want to be in 3 years' time, we need to start heading in that direction. This is the concept of the roadmap. So then saying, okay, what do we want to do in the next 12 months? Why will customers choose us in the next 12 months? In 12 months' time, why are customers going to be choosing you? What is it that you've got to get right? What is it that you need to achieve? What is it that you need to become? And in terms of pathways in the whole digital space, what is it that's your most likely best pathways? There's always going to be lots of choice, and people are often overwhelmed with choice. But there'll be lots of choice. So part of it is saying, okay, out of the various choices you've got, what is the best, most likely pathway? And then saying, okay, if that's where we're going in 12 months' time, what can we do each quarter, every 3 months? So what can we do in the first 3 months, and the second, the third, and the fourth, in order to get where you want to be in 12 months' time? So what are the goals? What are the stages in the process? What do you need to do first? If you look at Q1 meaning the first quarter, not necessarily the first quarter of the year, but it's the first quarter of your planning process. So the first 3 months, and then the second 3 months, the third 3 months, and the fourth 3 months. How about the first one? What do you need to do first? What do you do first? What can you tweak? One of the things that I try to get very clear on with people is saying this is not about massive change for the sake of massive change. This is about making changes when it's appropriate, but it's also about making small tweaks that can hopefully have big results. Fine-tuning things, picking up little things that might not be working so well and turning those around, improving those. So what can we tweak? What is it that are the things that really small things that could be done to make a big difference? And also, what are the things that you must change? What are the skills that you actually need to take on board and have on board as part of your team? What are the resources you're going to need? What are the capabilities? Often, a lot of this whole world, the whole focus in the digital world is about developing capability, and capability that you don't currently have, or that you don't currently have enough of, or that you don't currently have the right capability or the right people or the right help. And then saying, okay, so if that's what we need to be doing, then what are the capabilities we need on the team in order to get where we need to go? Okay. Now, what can we tweak? What must we change? And what do we do first? So that's what happens. They're the sort of things that we need to be thinking about in the first quarter. And then saying, okay, as you move on through, then what do we need to achieve then? What our activities need to be? And with the ultimate focus, really, probably can't emphasize this one enough. Why are customers going to choose you? Why are customers going to choose you? And one of the things is, if you don't know why they're going to choose you, they probably won't. Now, so then basically the roadmap then starts to take shape, to then say, okay, what do we need to start doing first? What do we do in the next 3 months, the following 3 months, the following 3 months, in order to get where we want to be in 12 months, in order to get where we want to be in 3 years' time? Now, this can become a bit of a challenge if you're under pressure at the moment and you don't actually think that you can sort of see 3 years down the track. This is not about saying necessarily, it's not about self-delusion, and it's not about saying that there's anything magical about 3 years. It's about saying, let's have a time frame that is you're able to look forward and look ahead and say, okay, I think I can realistically plan that far ahead. Now, that's both with your business but also with technology, and trying to plan too far ahead with technology can be challenging. Okay, now I've developed a worksheet that is available and that I'm happy to provide to people who have who participate in this session. And this is really a worksheet where we then start saying, and hopefully you can read that okay, basically the area of business, and then separating down the actions and the goals that you want to achieve in each of these areas of business. So what are the areas of business? Well, for example, here are some. I've got quite a longer list that I'm going to go through with you in just a sec. But basically, there might be an area of your business called your website. You may have an interest in mobile. That could be an obvious thing to look at, and then saying, okay, we want to be focusing in on mobile. Maybe it's about CRM, customer relationship management, and the CRM systems that go along with that, as well as it's not just about the systems. It's also about it's not just about the technology systems. It's about the processes that you use to make the systems work for you and make the systems get results for you. And maybe there's a focus within your roadmap about merchandising, saying we've actually got to improve the product range, and we've got to improve how we present that on our website, and how we present that and how we integrate that with what's going on in the shop. And then maybe there's marketing activities. There could be lots of things. So this is a mind map of some of the things that you could be thinking about considering in your digital roadmap. As you can see, there's quite a few areas to think about. But for example, you might be saying, okay, well, we want to think about our business. We want to be thinking about redefining the business model, about our uniqueness, those things that make us different, and reinventing the business. Then of course, there's the website. So what are some of the things about websites? Now, having been involved in websites for a long time, what I realize is a lot of websites are developed by organizations presenting information that they think is important, but they're not really focused on customers. And so part of the thing is to say, okay, maybe what we need to do is make sure the website is customer focused. Now, that may sound very, very obvious, but a lot of people miss it. There's other points there, encouraging clicks. So what are the pathways through the website that you want somebody to take in order to get them to do what you want them to do? Website hosting and capability. I'm not going to go through each of these points. You can kind of look at those and think about those. But website hosting and capabilities. You probably heard just last week about the Click Frenzy Tuesday sort of minor fiasco, where a lot of websites, including the Click Frenzy one, couldn't cope with the volume of traffic that they needed. The web hosting and the capabilities of the hosting environment just were not up to scratch. And even at a local level, there are businesses running websites on hosting and serving platforms that are not reliable. And someone who will remain nameless but is participating in the webinar today had his website go down for at least 24 hours because the company who was hosting the website decided things didn't work out for them. Now, that's not necessarily the end of the world, but when someone shuts your digital shop and you've had no control over it or no say over it, then it is a bit of a nuisance, to put it mildly. And so part of the planning for your roadmaps to say what are the vulnerability points and what are the things we just really need to get right. Mobile space. Whoops, I'm just going to close these guys down. Mobile. So you need to, really these days, organisations and certainly retailers need to have a mobile-friendly website. There may be other marketing activities you want to do to work with mobile customers. Building trust is a critical thing. Offering guarantees, what we call social proof, that credibility, that third-party credibility that allows people to believe that what you say is actually going to happen. Some of you probably know this, some of you probably don't know this. Google Business Photos has recently been introduced into into Australia, and we're going to be running a session on that early next year. But Google Business Photos allows, is where you can get a local photographer who's authorized by Google to come into your shop with a 3D camera and take the equivalent of Google Street View photos, so that when they come in, when somebody comes to your premises on Google Maps, then they can actually wander effectively, click on a link within Google Maps and wander through your store. Now this is great in all sorts of ways, including building credibility and building trust. For some stores that don't necessarily have a good customer experience that to show up in photos, and it may actually work against you. But in terms of building trust, there's lots of little things that you could be doing. Getting the shopping cart right. If you're selling things online, then one of the things to focus on is saying, what is it that happens when people come into our world? What is it that they do? And why do they abandon the shopping cart processes? Merchandising, I mentioned that before. Getting delivery right, saying, okay, what are the things we need to be offering? One of the big issues with shopping cart abandonment is people just wondering what the shipping cost was going to be, and deciding after they look at something online that really they don't want to spend that much on shipping, and so they just leave. Key point here: the product arrival experience. The product arrival experience. It's a sort of a bit of a phenomenon that I've noticed over the course of the last probably the last 6 months, really. Because of the popularity in people ordering online, the experience of shopping is not just at the point of purchase, it's actually at the point of taking delivery of the product. And especially if that comes through the mail or through Australia Post, Parcel Post, or whatever, how can you improve the product arrival experience so that there's another moment of truth, another touch point that you're having with your customer, so that they're really pleased that they've actually bought something from you. Security, big issues. Over here, analytics, looking at what happens on your site, who does what and when and why, and then saying, okay, what improvements can we be making based on that? Social media, obviously, there's some things that may or may not work for you. Customer service, so many people beat up on retailers for not providing great customer service. Why is that? Generally because it's true. But the same thing can happen online as well. And offering great customer service online is not just a given. It's actually something that needs to be worked at. Customer relationships, CRM integration, that's the customer relationship management tools. Building segmented lists. Affiliate sales programs. Affiliate sales programs is where you can have people throughout the web providing links back to your site for customers who may visit you via the link, and essentially it's a sales commission relationship that you can have with people who can direct traffic to your website, and if somebody buys when they're on your website, you can then pay their sales commission to the site that directed the traffic to you. Now that sounds like a interesting concept, potentially hard to manage. It's actually really easy to manage if you get the right shopping cart system that allows you to have that. And some shopping cart systems have got that already built in. In other times you can have a third-party affiliate marketing program that can plug into your system. But there's a whole area of interesting development with affiliate sales programs. Back-end integration, accounting, inventory, payment processing, community development, saying, and this is not just a geographic community, these are communities of interest, and part of the thing to focus on with the digital roadmap is saying, how can we get more people to trust us, people who are not necessarily our customers, but people who we'd like to have as our customers. And so part of that is saying, okay, let's go where our customers go, let's understand what drives them, let's find people who are like our customers. In addition to our customers, let's find people who are like them, and so you then find these common interests where people with common interests aggregate online to then say, okay, how can you become an important advisor, a trusted advisor to those communities online. Getting found online, massive area to focus on your digital roadmap, to then look at the improved search engine optimization, getting found, advertising, customer convenience, improving those customer processes, as well as reducing friction points, those things that actually get in the way. There was a fascinating book written many years ago called Moments of Truth, which focused on how SAS, Scandinavian Air Service, which is an airline in Scandinavia, was turned around, this is going back in the 80s, was turned around from making a huge loss to making a big profit by just focusing on individual moments of truth that that airline had with each of its customers. And that whole concept is so critical in the world today, focusing in on those moments of truth, those moments of convenience or inconvenience, those moments of happiness or moments of pain, friction, where something got in the way of a good relationship. And then there's the capabilities, saying, okay, what are the capabilities that you might need to develop? So all of those areas are possible things to consider as you plan and think about your digital roadmap. So how can your digital roadmap help you make money and save money? Some things happen to increase revenue and other things happen to decrease costs. Now that's pretty obvious. What I want to do is focus above the line and below the line. Those things above the line to find and attract customers, and those things below the line to satisfy customers. Those things that I need to do to fulfill those sales that I make. So basically, above the line, those marketing and sales improvements to find, attract and sell more to customers to basically increase revenue. And below the line, improving infrastructure, improving your infrastructure of the business to service and satisfy and delight customers, and at the same time, as a result of that, reducing costs. So there's a few ways to do that, and this is just a few. There's lots of different things you could add in here, and I'd certainly love to get your input about this. If we're actually in a workshop environment, we could brainstorm this one on a flip chart, and we'd probably get some interesting information out of it for all of us. But basically, those things above the line, attracting more customers, attracting better customers, better sales conversions is so important. If you can make small tweak changes as a result of your digital roadmap, and as a result of that, turn more people who visit your website into customers who buy from you, then obviously that's going to help. And then there's below the line, retaining those good customers. One of the things that I wrote a bit about in the book, but also would like to stress a little bit, is technology du jour, a bit like soup du jour. Soup du jour is soup of the day. And in the world of technology, you also get a lot of technology of the day. That kind of is the latest and greatest best thing for today, and then lo and behold, tomorrow comes along and there's something that's replaced it and become the next best thing. So basically, a smart digital roadmap can help you save money and make money by making better decisions and investing better without wasting money on things that are relatively transient, that are sort of faddish. Increasing the revenue, part of the game is to keep ahead of customers' expectations and keep getting chosen. Customers are going to have evolving expectations that will rapidly move and have rapidly moved over the last few years, and I think are going to continue to do so. So part of the challenge is making sure that your roadmap helps you stay ahead of those expectations of customers, their needs and their wants, but more importantly, their expectations, because if a customer expects that they can deal with you in a certain way or buy from you in a certain way, or that you will be offering them a certain method of delivery or free shipping, for example, and there seems to be a sort of a move over the last 6 months that free shipping is something that is being offered, and a lot of customers love it, then part of it's saying, okay, how can we do that? I'm not saying everyone has to offer free shipping, far from it, but when customers expect that, then they will go where they can find it. And the same thing in the cost area. More flexibility in planning can give better return on investment and better options for the future. And with a sensible or a well thought out digital roadmap, one of the key things to make sure you have with that is flexibility for the future. so that you do stay, you don't get locked into anything. You maintain that flexibility, and you have the ability to change, not chop and change like a blowfly, but change as you need to, rather than getting locked into any particular supplier or any particular technology or any particular web partner. Keep yourself flexible so that you can move as you need to. Okay, and as I say here in my dramatic finale, there are no guarantees with this. You need to make the plans, and you need to make the plans happen. But the starting point, I believe, is the digital roadmap that looks ahead 3 years, for example, breaks that 3 years down into 12 months, and then breaks the next 12 months down into 3-month blocks, and then you start working through those 3-month blocks. And as you go forward, you review, not every, you review the digital roadmap, but not every 3 years. You review it every 3 months in a small review process, and then just roll it forward so that you are continuing to change quickly as you need to, and continuing to implement quickly as you need to, and also add to it. So there you go. That's the introduction to digital roadmaps. I hope that's been of value. Very happy to take questions, and love to get your comments and feedback about the session. Thanks again for attending.